the Jessica Lal case. You were Joint Commissioner of Police Southern Range when that murder happened in the Qutub Colonnade, and it was on 30th April 1999. Tell us about that. What happened? When did you hear about it? I read it, but I want you to tell me, what did you feel about that? I mean, we read it in the morning in
That's
the
correct.
newspapers. And I believe some of the people who were at the party also read it or heard about it on television in the morning. So when you got that call, what were you doing? What was your thought first?
Morning, I recall that morning, the night before, about 2 o'clock, 2:30, Jessica Lal was killed. And then in the morning, I received 3 phone calls, about which I have talked in my book
It's
also.
an age where there's no mobile phone,
That's correct.
landline.
Exactly. And Satyamar, I was there. I get call early in the morning. You know, in Delhi police, other police forces also, the SHOs report to their seniors, they report to their SP or Deputy Commissioner of Police, and then upwards. So I was that time, I was very much there as a Joint Commissioner of Police. So several districts reported to me. I looked after half of Delhi, and that was the happening half of Delhi.
South Delhi.
So in the morning, South Delhi, that's correct. So in the morning, I got 2 husky voices. Extremely husky voices, very sexy voices, I must say, both of them. One was Steven Seagal, the famous Hollywood star, you know, tall fellow, 6
Yeah.
feet 5 inches or something, who had come to Prayas couple of days back before
Acha.
this incident.
Okay.
And he happened to be in the same place where Jessica was killed.
Qutub.
And the other husky voice was my batchmate Y.S. Dadwal, who is no more. And Dadwal was my batchmate. He also happened to be there the previous night, and a lot of stories came about him also.
Yeah.
These are 2 cases, 2 characters who spoke to me in the morning. And the third one was my additional Deputy Commissioner of Police, who reported the crime to me as usual.
How did Steven Seagal get your number?
Well, what happened that he had my
Because
contact.
he had come to Prayas.
That's correct. He
Okay.
had come to Prayas, and he created such a beautiful scene in Prayas because he came to one of my homes which was full of small children, and then he was a towering personality, and
Yeah.
these kids, you know, they sat all over him, on his shoulders, on his laps, and all over, and they really enjoyed it. So it was a different kind of situation.
But ये तो कुछ और ही phone कर
ये
रहे
कुछ
थे।
और ही था. Morning में अचानक कॉल आता है.
हाँ.
I couldn't understand that it was he who is calling, because why should he call me? You understand that, but
Yeah.
he did. And Dadwal, whom I called Dadu because of being batchmate, you know, he says ki, boss, I was there for some time last night and all that, and something happened, I believe. So this story came, and then I went to scene of crime soon after that. That was very important.
In that I'm sorry to interrupt, but आपकी किताब में there's a very interesting part which I found when you talk about that there were bureaucrats and police officers in that party of the Ramanis in Qutub Colonnade, and you write the bureaucrats apparently came because they wanted a change from the stuffy environment of Gymkhana Club. I had such a laugh, sir, because it is so typical. It is so typical that these police officers, I'm sorry, you're a police
please,
officer,
carry
but
on.
I'm saying this, that bureaucrats who have membership to the most elite club of Delhi, which is Gymkhana, but they find it too stuffy. So they go to Qutub Colonnade, and their bad luck कि वहाँ पहुँचते हैं एंड उस दिन एक मर्डर हुआ और वो उस मर्डर को वो डिफाइन करता है उनके करियर को अब. डडवाल साहब, I think it defined him then.
See, I think all these law enforcement characters in bureaucracy and police, for them it was a change to go such a lawless joint. It was a lawless joint in the sense that
They didn't have the legal.
they had no license for the liquor. They had no exact license for whatever they were doing. And let me inform you, perhaps others will understand more easily. See, it was a Thursday party. And as you know, Bina Ramani and her daughter Manli, they are past master in creating these situations. Hoj Khas village was partly created by Bina Ramani. So she was a known socialite, and her daughter Manli was also a smart girl. And they wanted to do some business because this damn place was not doing too well. I mean,
Qutub Colonnade.
it was not doing well in the sense that they required some new business kind
पर
of.
परमिट्स नहीं थे उनके पास.
परमिट्स के अलावा ये था कि ये जगह उतनी पॉपुलर, बहुत करीब, कुतुब के एकदम बगल में, ये भी एक बड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट
कि
हुआ
कैसे उन्हें परमिशन मिला.
क्यों परमिशन मिला. एंड द टॉप पीपल इन द गवर्नमेंट, दे अलाउड दीज पीपल. लेकिन ये था कि at that point of time it was not doing too well, so they got the idea of Thursday parties. Now think of Thursday. See, from Monday to Friday, why Thursday? Because that is the idea they thought of, that Thursday people become a little, again, they're tired of the routine, and then they want a change, a break in the middle of the week, and Thursday is the right day. So they decided to have some kind of Thursday parties where they started with hardly 5-6 people. And mind you, it was ninth Thursday party. And during that ninth Thursday party, it became so popular that nearly 400 people came that night, that evening. And it was talk of the town. Anyone around who wanted a kick, who wanted a change, who wanted different kind of experience, as you mentioned, they all came to Thursday party. And I don't wish to name everyone here. Top doctors, top socialites who were there, lot of government officials, and all those people. And after all,
So then, in various reports of media reports, say that those who were present, and some of them are mentioned in your book too, Rohit Bal, Reena Dhaka, Tarun Tehliani, they were questioned too. Rohit Bal, in fact, I think called the ambulance or whatever, or called Natasha Nanda of Escorts, Neeraj Kanwar of Apollo Tyres, Jay Wadia, son of Bombay Dyeing's Nasli Wadia. Then there was Hollywood actor Steven Seagal, as you mentioned, former Minister Kamal Nath's son Nakul. There was policeman in the form of Joint Commissioner Dadwal, as we mentioned. And there was Manu Sharma, the 24-year-old son of Union Minister.
Dr. Naresh Trehan was also there. He
Yes.
came for some time.
And there was in your book, as you mentioned, Hari Bhartia, Dr. Naresh Trehan, who says that he came for a short while and then he got bored or whatever and crowded or something and he leaves. Nakul Nath, Meena Alag, Bindu Vadera, Hanut Singh, the jeweler, all these people were there. There were 300 people.
That's correct.
Out there, and there was, of course, Vinod Sharma. Then he becomes Vashisht or something like Siddharth.
His name was Siddharth Vashisht.
Siddharth Vashisht. And then there was Vikas Yadav, son of Rajya Sabha member DP Yadav. And there is a list of who's who were there. Or nobody. It's not necessary that they were all known to Malini Ramani or Beena Ramani. They were friends.
That's correct.
And those who heard of it and landed up out there and things. And without alcohol license, alcohol was being served.
That's correct. No, I mean, it wasn't meant for this kind of party at all. And no permissions were there for this kind of activity which was going on. So all these people, they came through word of mouth. Even Manu Sharma and Vikas Yadav, we asked them how did they arrive. Then they say it was talk of the town. Everybody knew. And as you know that Manu was not only son of Vinod Sharma, a very big, very important politician of Haryana.
At that time, Congress party.
And they were very rich businessmen. They had sugar factories and all. Even today, let me inform you, his post coming out of the jail. So they are the kind of people, who kept on pouring into that place. And it was like a climax. It was real climax on that particular night when these guys were there. Not that everybody was there, let me inform you. Our investigation, as it happens, I'll go back to that. Our investigation started right in the morning because, as I mentioned to you, that one of our home guards, who was asked to keep a watch on the vehicles coming and going. A few vehicles were lying there after everybody had left. And one main vehicle was Manu Sharma's vehicle, which because Manu Sharma left the vehicle there, and he ran on foot, and subsequently he took various things. He concealed his weapon also nearby, as you know, in the Mehrauli area, and for some time I believe that he went on the hand cart and then finally took something else and he reached his home. So his vehicle was there, and his vehicle could be the starting point of investigation. So these guys, Vikas Yadav, and they came, not Manu Sharma, they came to pick up the vehicle. And this is smart head constable smart home guard of Delhi police. He was very smart. He kept a watch. He hit the windshield of the vehicle and it broke down. It broke and he could remember the number also. So by the time, we arrived at the spot and the information came, this number was with us. And by pure chance, Kiran Bedi, who happens to be my senior colleague in my cadre, Kiran that time was for a very short while IG of Chandigarh. So I spoke to Kiran personally. I told her the number of the vehicle, And the vehicle was tracked. I mean, we learnt within how many hours? Within hardly 10-15 hours that the person whose vehicle was there is Manu Sharma, and most likely he is the person who killed Jessica Lal.
So by the time you reached in the morning, you reached the location. You
That's
reached at what time?
Morning 8:30, 9
By
o'clock. I
that
was there.
time, all evidence, I mean, blood had all been wiped out and everything had been cleaned, right?
See what happened that when Jessica she was shot at and she fell down. When she fell down in the room, there were a couple of people. Beena and Malini were there. Beena's husband, who was supposed to fly out the next day, as you know, he could not do it. He was going around the world trip he was supposed to take. So they were there. So that time, the body had to be, I mean, she had to be picked up and removed. Somebody told कि इसको clean कर दो. Somebody said, I mean, I don't think it was Beena Ramani who said that इसको साफ कर दो. So it just happened. I will not say that anybody was trying to clean, and cleaning the blood actually doesn't mean anything, frankly. In the larger scheme of investigation, trial and evidence as it unfolds or as it is produced in the court, it did not have much of value. The circumstantial evidence were plenty to inform or perhaps to place on record how it happened, and all those things were very different. So by the time we were there, yes, the place was cleaned, and we had not been able to recover one of the pellets, the empties as we call it. 2-3 empties were lying there on the spot, and that was recovered. So scene of crime was actually not disturbed as such. I don't really give much of importance to it.
Okay.
Far more important was those people who were eyewitnesses. And it is fact that they were heavily influenced and heavily kind of coerced by the people who were in power that time. But then Beena and Malini and her husband, Beena's husband, I think all of them were able to say the major part, a substantial part of the information. Because what happened? While this incident took place, and then as you know that he demanded alcohol. And that time Jessica said that there is no alcohol. Then he said that for a sip, I'll pay 1,000.
The word sip also.
That's correct. That also came, and as if sip from the mouth kind of thing, he said it. And his friends, they were there on that
And he
spot.
was drunk.
He was totally drunk. He was really drunk. And then that was the situation. And then Shayan Munshi, who was a small-time actor and who was with Jessica. And as you know, both were bartenders.
Yeah.
And of course, what Shayan did was something horrifying. I mean, he was a nasty character, let me tell you very frankly, because he did not support the case at all. While they were together like twins in that situation.
Okay. It was, how was the bar shaped? Like, was it a horseshoe?
Yeah, yes.
मतलब ये दोनों पास में थे दोनों.
वो दोनों बार के पीछे थे.
सिर्फ ये दोनों.
हाँ, बार के पीछे थे, और बार का the items had been over finished. There was nothing much left in it.
Actually, she couldn't even give, right? Unless वो कूपन देते हैं, तब तक वो drinks नहीं दे सकती थी. कुछ ऐसे था ना?
नहीं, drink was not there. Drink
Okay,
was
finish
not
हो
there.
चुका
Drink was not there, but they were having a little drink.
Okay.
They were having, that is how this sip and all that stuff came. So drink was not there. And it was about 2 o'clock. So by then it was
Party
being
was
cleaned.
wrapping
Party
up.
was over, as it was a typical scene of a late night party being over.
Okay.
And this fellow demanded drink. So that was the trigger point on which he shot her. And he was drunk. Obviously he was drunk. And his friends were hanging around. So that is what situation was.
So Shayan Munshi, did he try to pick her up, stop? कुछ नहीं कर पाया.
शयान मुंशी ने कहा, he said it, ऐसा नहीं. शयान मुंशी के स्टेटमेंट पे तो हमने FIR लॉन्च किया.
हाँ, correct.
He was taken, Shayan Munshi, we took him to this place, the other hospital, which is next to my home incidentally. So Shayan Munshi's statement was that time truthful. There was no issue at all. He spoke whatever he saw. Now what happened that then Beena Ramani came and she tried to stop him, and he was running away. She followed him, Manu Sharma, till the gate, and he escaped. So she tried, and he was carrying the weapon. The weapon was in his hand. So that way, I would say that Beena acted brave from that point of view.
She caught him by the collar or something and
She
asked
tried to
him
physically
to
stop him also. She tried to physically stop. He did not stop. He got scared also that time, and then he escaped. So this entire situation was captured very well by us, and statements made by the people about this entire situation was perfectly in place.
We must remind people that this is an era before CCTV.
That's correct. That's
ना
correct.
अंदर सीसीटीवी ना बाहर सीसीटीवी,
That's correct.
ना सड़कों पे सीसीटीवी टू सी दिस मैन रनिंग अवे, गेटिंग ऑन द कार्ट, उसकी गाड़ियां, दोज हु लेफ्ट फ्रॉम द सीन, कुछ नहीं, नो सीसीटीवी एट ऑल इन दोज
Exactly, exactly. That's a very important point in those times. What we wanted and what was required to be done, I mean, typical of CBI, which where I served for 4 years, we get into small pieces of evidence. That's the beauty of that organization, which is really a good organization from investigation point of view. We wanted to connect his entire movement, which was known to some people, and they did not want to admit. Where the problem arises, there are two, three things. Number one, that some people saw him, they met him because he was there for a long time. They did not depose. They deposed that time properly, some of them. Many did not depose properly. Then the so-called eyewitnesses who came in contact with him, they deposed and they turned hostile ultimately. And most importantly, the entire theory of two weapons, you understand that two weapon theory
Yeah.
was done, and it was supported negatively by the ballistic report. And the ballistic report came from CBI Central Forensic Science Lab, which is very bad. And we found one of the leading ballistic experts of the country to
Compromised.
be compromised. It appeared, and I think it was correct. So all these things you divide in three parts. That is, those people who were there in the night and they came across these characters, they should have deposed properly. Those people who were eyewitnesses, eyewitnesses means they contacted, they saw him running, saw him killing, or saw him being there, all that stuff. That is second. And those who were circumstantial witnesses and technical witnesses, and they got compromised. You understand? All these things are very important. 35 witnesses turned hostile. It must be the only case, perhaps such talked about case where 35 witnesses they turned hostile. They were declared hostile by us in the court of law. And the cases still are going on. Shayan Munshi is definitely one of the most prominent ones who turned hostile. And it included important people, surprisingly. So the entire criminal justice system went to winds, so far as Jessica Lal case is concerned. And that's the saddest part of the story. Another very important thing, which is for viewers to understand, that although these witnesses turned hostile, based on circumstantial evidence which were there in plenty with us, the Sessions Court let him go. I mean, Manu Sharma was let off, as you know. And based on the same evidence, I give all credit to Justice R.S. Sodhi, who finally decided the case in our favor, High Court of Delhi, and he was convicted. There, he relied upon those part of evidence which were substantially establishing this case. And the remaining part of evidence which they lied, he rejected, which doesn't happen. So a new trend started from that point of view. And the case came in our favor ultimately.
But what was this collective amnesia जो हुआ था of these eyewitnesses who just became all silent about the bureaucrats and the police people who were there and about the important people? What was this omerta code कि हम एक दूसरे के बारे में बताएंगे नहीं? ये क्या तरीका था?
That speaks volumes about Delhi's or perhaps metropolitan cities, so-called
Elite.
Socialites, I think. That is what the hollowness of these cities, these characters, who is who, that comes in the open. This case, perhaps one of the lasting things is, number one, that yes, there was a big demand for justice. As you know, Barkha came out and others came out and they started off a kind of campaign, which is good. Although campaign doesn't result in any kind of conviction. The conviction was based on the same evidence which we collected. But then yes, that kind of interest of the people, and nationally something happened, you understand. And nationally these people were exposed also. They were exposed because of their hollowness of their personality. What kind of people are they? Such important people in the society, they should have come out very clearly what they saw and what happened to on that night. But they didn't want. They want to shy away.
Were you shocked at that time that such important... those were faces that we were seeing every day on page 3.
That's correct.
I think page 3 culture got a big hit with the Jessica Lal case. थोड़ा बहुत तो कम हुआ, But these were supposedly the big names of society at that stage. What was going on in your mind, that why are they not talking? Why are they not telling what they actually saw? Were they scared? What was the political pressure on them?
Yes, the political pressure, not political I would say, but the pressure of one particular family or two particular families. For example, DP Yadav and Vikas Yadav.
Hmm.
I was sitting in my office and in police headquarters, and suddenly Vikas Yadav appears along with his father, and the entire media is there that time. And he had obtained a bail from northeast, some remote court in the northeast of India. He got a bail and he came and surrendered himself. You understand? And his father, of course, is hanging around. The way his family, I mean Manu Sharma's family, his father and others, they planned the entire escape is mind-boggling. And lot of very important people in that escape scene also, let me inform you, besides on the spot,
Yeah.
when he was trying to escape, and meanwhile, the main person to whom they had handed over the weapon, you know the story of the
No, but tell it. It's there in the book, but still.
weapon was given to a gentleman who had come from USA, and the uncle of Manu Sharma, brother of Vinod Sharma, who was of course the son-in-law of one president of India also. And then he and that person was carrying weapon. They connived, and the weapon ultimately, as we understand, was thrown in the river. That's what they say, because the weapon was taken, the person went to Manali and all. But he had to escape. He had to go away from India. And that period they wanted to buy. And for variety of preparations that they wanted to do with regard to concealment of evidence or with regard to kind of harboring the main culprit, his escape in various locations in Punjab and all that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we were on the chase. Our team was on the chase and we caught him very fast. But that particular period, lot of very important people again came in picture. And then by the time we caught him, the weapon had gone. The person who had kept the weapon, he also went away. So you understand, these things, all these things brought into picture, brought into our investigation fold, large number of very, very important people from various walks of life.
Did it shock you at that time?
Very shocking. It was very, very disappointing. It was very shocking, and far more shocking was when the trial took place.
Yeah.
And during the trial, whatever they had said, they resiled from all those statements. That was still more shocking. That how could they do it? How could they just resile all? And
then the police looks like a fool.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
At that time, because you all came under a lot of criticism that you didn't have enough proof. But what had actually happened was that people who had seen it said something, went back on their words, and they turned hostile.
I made a statement at a very crucial time. It was open and shut case. I said it about this case.
Yeah.
I said the same thing about BMW case also, which is
yeah.
a fact. Because we worked out the case straightway. I said
So
within
वो truck
hours.
बन गया BMW.
both
We'll
the
get to that.
That case also, as
We'll
you
get
know.
to that later. So पहले Jessica Lal
So
खत्म करते हैं.
in this case, when the fellows are identified in a matter of hours, and witnesses are known, list is there, everything is there. So all those things put together, it should have been a very clear, clean case. Had it been an ordinary restaurant or hotel where the crime took place,
Yeah.
probably things would have been much easier.
Yeah.
But then here, because of the characters and their weird behavior,
Yeah.
that is what was very shocking. And how could they speak white lies in the court of law? Or maybe they were told to do so. And let me inform you, one point which I have written in my book, which is very different. I mean, about a particular person who was made to look like a hero. And that person conduct was very wrong. I think, I hope
Yeah.
you understand what I am talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
And because
You don't want to
the
name.
transaction took place. The transaction took place within the family. The father of Manu Sharma, he went to the home of Jessica Lal, and Jessica Lal's father was a very nice person, very nice person. He was very unhappy about the entire thing. And then money was transferred, and the money was transferred to the eyewitness, and the eyewitness turned a total alcoholic. We could not do anything because he was being fed so much of money, he was being kind of made a drunkard, and then ultimately he went totally awry. In fact, one of them died also while drinking.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things which doesn't come in the open. People don't understand what all can happen. So Jessica Lal case from that point of view, more than an investigation which could be very clean and simple, it was a narrative on the society. It was something which exposed society in many ways.
What about when the admission happens? When Manu Sharma admits and that is not viable, the admission.
In this case, surprisingly again, in this case, the entire video recording of Manu Sharma, to which I was there, in fact, he was talking to me. Although at the level of Joint Commissioner of Police, these things don't happen, but I'm in the habit of investigating. I used to investigate cases myself. I used to talk to people myself. So I did the same with Manu also. In one of our places.
What was that interaction like? Was he consumed with guilt, or was it matter of fact ki maar diya?
I don't think that he was so much guilt conscious, or he had any serious remorse about whatever happened. ये काफ़ी ठीक ठाक था और इसने पूरी कहानी बहुत ठीक से बताई. The entire story he narrated very truthfully. Once he was caught and once he was in our custody, we have the system of recording. That video recording was there, and let me inform you that that record was kept on the file, on the police, on the trial, during the course of trial, because the case became so controversial.
तो वो क्या कह रहा था? क्यों मारा उसने?
He said something very funny. He said it. He said कि हाँ ये सही है कि भाई he was drunk and he was under influence of liquor, and when he demanded, then Jessica was not giving. He had the weapon in his pocket, .22, that weapon he had. And then he said कि he saw something, her hair falling here, and he thought कि probably I'll disturb his hair or something, very odd kind of thing, and he shot her. And he shot her pointed on the head, you understand. So he was not shooting her on the head, he was shooting probably her hair or something, he was moving. That kind of, he wanted to say that his intention was not to kill. And he was very unhappy. And unhappy means he was very angry with the conduct of Jessica Lal that point of time.
Arrogance.
And he admits that he was angry, he admits that he was unhappy, and arrogance. And that kind of background that he had, you understand, they are spoiled brats of the big people. And although he was rich and he was part of business, he was a director in the companies floated by his father. But then this is what he was. And the youngsters in that age, what they could do, how could they think, what is their psychology, it is some kind of reflection on that also.
Did he think he would get away with it when he went with Vikas Yadav and the others? Did they think कि बच जाएंगे, or they thought कि पकड़े ही जाएंगे?
He was scared though. His movement with a lot of people, he was very scared. But then they were quite confident. They were very confident that he will get away. He thought as much.
They almost did.
Yes, and they almost did. In the Sessions Court, getting a verdict of this type is most unusual in a case like this. They got a verdict, and without getting into minute details of what all I know, what all, let's say, my advocate, late Mr. S.K. Saxena, who was a veteran of CBI, he was a lawyer in this case, a brilliant lawyer for criminal courts. Now, we all know what happened. We all know what happened. What all happened behind the scene. At very, very high levels, this judgment was bought over.
Oh God.
The first judgment was bought over. One doesn't know how to, in what words, talk about it. That's a fact. The gentleman who was the Sessions judge, I have mentioned about it, he gave the verdict, very crisp verdict, acquitting all of them. And then, of course, he became a High Court judge soon after that.
What do you feel as a policeman at that time when you know कि ये guilty है और ये निकल गया? आपके साथ तो कई बार ये हुआ होगा ऐसे. But this case, when you know the entire scrutiny is on you and on the case, and you feel कि कोर्ट ने तो छुड़वा दिया, अब क्या होगा?
I never lost it out. Let me inform you. See what happened that I was transferred to Arunachal Pradesh. I was DG police there. And this case went into wrong hands, entirely wrong hands. You understand? The Commissioner of Police who took over used to be Joint Commissioner of Police, who is a big shot, became governor later.
Yeah.
See, he was Joint Commissioner of Police Crime, I was Joint Commissioner of Police Southern Range. And we had major differences on many cases. Because I remained Joint Commissioner of Police, Southern Range of Delhi for 4 years.
This is
And
why I keep saying that our lives have crossed in many ways.
I know, correct.
I'm not going to say how, but anyway.
So somehow all the big cases, very big cases, took place during the time I was Joint Commissioner of Police Southern Range, and not following the usual practice, the cases never went to crime branch, and I investigated and supervised those cases. Jessica Lal being one of them. Such cases could have gone to CBI, could have gone to crime branch. It was not transferred to crime branch. So we did this case. So the entire paraphernalia of what's happening, we knew, we were aware that, and as you know that because of media interest and lot of inquiry being by media, they also gave us input, you understand. And I always acknowledge that media at times is far ahead of police.
But they brought that, I mean, because the media put so much scrutiny और फिर वो picture भी निकल आई and things like that, मतलब it opened up again. The case opened again. You were in Arunachal when the case was reopened?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I forgot that part. See what happened when acquittal took place, and somehow the gentleman who was police commissioner and somebody who was handling the case at that time, appeal part of it, they gave very odd statements in the media. They started blaming the investigating officers, not me. They started blaming the investigating officers, not appreciating the point that investigating officers had done the best possible job. They collected correct evidence. They identified the entire situation very methodically. They identified correct witnesses. The witnesses turning hostile in the court is not something the police can control, you understand.
Okay.
But they blamed the investigating officer. It happened. And there was a big situation created. Fortunately, Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, who happened to be ASG that time, I had known Gopal Subramaniam personally also.
Okay.
Somehow I knew him. And then I met him at the last moment and I explained to him the case. When I explained to him the case, Gopal said that, well, these guys, they are crooks. They are not telling me what the case is all about. You are the one who is telling the case all about, and let me inform you, I was not connected to case. I was DG Police of Arunachal Pradesh. I had been taking leave to come to Delhi. I guided the last part of trial and supported Gopal Subramaniam others along with the team, the same team, which had been actually taken away from the case. And unfortunately, Jessica's sister,
Sabrina.
Sabrina
She made a statement.
very foolish statements, not foolish I would say, probably it was loaded statement, that when I told her that the investigating officers and the evidence is in plenty, the case will succeed. I was very sure that the case will succeed. And she went and met the police commissioner and gave some wrong statement and things like that. So created a doubt about the case. Anyway, touch wood, finally things turned in our favor. And the trial, the High Court appreciated the evidence and the case ultimately was in our favor and we got the verdict we wanted. Thanks to Gopal Subramaniam and the team.
Okay. You were talking about the media scrutiny on this. Do you think was it a positive thing? Was it a negative thing that happened, the media
No,
scrutiny?
I would like to say that overall it was positive. Positive means, first of all, if such things are happening in the world of crime, criminality and justice system, why not people should know about it? So that kind of campaign, recall, this was the first ever campaign. That candlelight campaign and all that stuff started nationally. Okay, that's a good thing which happened. Secondly, if media is scrutinized and covered every bit of trial, every bit of investigation, I mean, nothing wrong in it. See, because personally I feel that media has a role to play. I mean, if you permit me a little digression.
Absolutely.
See, in Rajiv Gandhi case, because that's the biggest case, perhaps the biggest case I did in my career. In Rajiv Gandhi case, as I mentioned in my second book, first book only.
First book,
That I was told by the then director CBI, Mr. Vijay Karan, who happened to be my boss as police commissioner Delhi earlier. The very next day, I mean last night Rajiv Gandhi is killed and next day he tells me that you have to go to Madras, then it was not Chennai. You have to go to Madras with the team and investigate the case. So I was absolutely a stranger, except that long back I was SP of Pondicherry. I had no relationship with South or Tamil Nadu, and when he said it, I have to go. You understand, Tamil Nadu is a very complex and a very different kind of place. You need to be very conversant. And since LTT had killed Rajiv Gandhi, and the background had to be known. So, along with a team from Delhi, I go to Madras, and I proceed to Sri Perambur, where Rajiv Gandhi had been assassinated 2 nights before. So, what I did, very clever thing I did, in fact, media, since you are talking about media, I told my team to collect all the newspapers, including the Tamil newspapers, local newspapers, and give me a small report based on the newspapers. And let me inform you, next day when I was there in Sri Perambur, because then I was there, Karthikeyan had not joined, he joined later. So the material I had in hand was far more than anybody could think of. And when the media started asking me questions, I had answered to almost everything thanks to media. Because as I mentioned, that media does a lot of work. They have got huge force of people
Because there were
working.
so many reporters that day.
Correct. And they collect almost everything. They know almost everything. And that case, one thing which happened...
There was also the photographer, frontline photographer.
Correct.
Who had the picture. I'm going to come to that also.
Okay, all right.
Let me come to that later, sir. I have a story to tell about that thing also. But let's conclude the Jessica Lal case, and then we can go on to that. In that, I remember, remember reading at that time an article, and मैं बहुत ढूंढा मैंने, और आज finally मिल गया वो article. It was by this person called Ramesh Vinayak and Vijay Jang Thapa, writing on that Jessica Lal case. And they wrote, Delhi has traditionally suffered from an epidemic of contactitis, whereby the worth of an individual is measured by the range of his connections. I remembered, and it stuck in my head कि ये Jessica Lal murder case में this contactitis की बात मैंने पढ़ी थी. और finally I found that it was behind a firewall, but finally I found it. I said कि ये मुझे quote चाहिए. It was so true. That was the thing that shocked everybody, was that this is the who's who of Delhi. सारे के सारे उस रात को वहाँ पे थे, और other than a couple of them, they just abandoned Jessica.
I know. It's a fact. It's a fact. And contactitis, the term that you are using, I don't think any other city, any other place is better known, or perhaps, let's say, notoriously known for referring to contacts, or for making contacts a reality in day-to-day life.
And we should not humanize this contactitis. We should not say कि ये होता है. I think it is also एक मर्ज है किसी भी मुल्क के जो कैपिटल सिटी में ये चीज़ें होती हैं, where a person's worth is how close to the powers that be you are. And the closer you get, the more compromises you make to get closer and closer. इनमें से कोई भी अगर आप देखें, इनको थ्रेट तो नहीं हुआ होगा जब इनको बोला गया था कि भाई तुम ये मत करो. कुछ लोगों को शायद थ्रेट हुआ होगा.
Very few people, some of the crucial witnesses, they were driven by money power. Some others who were connected to Jessica and friends, they were partly coerced. But I would not say that there was any kind of force or threat, or that serious risk to life was involved. No, it wasn't there. It's a wrong thing. I mean, the power, the political power, the money power had to play its role, which it did in this case and BMW case and such other many cases. That's there. But then, yes, through contact and through networking and through relationships, this case also gave it out very strongly that that part of the city's life, that part of the metropolitan city's third phase life is also very important.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा.
The issue is, टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है.
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब.
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप.
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI. It does not lie.